I'll be checking out Food Boy by Gloria Moniga. This session is appropriate for this story as it centers around Boy, a character, and the impact his death has upon his family. The key moments in the story, we have the demand of demolition, life after Boy left, the operation of Amaisha, and the death of Boy. Next, we're going to look at the themes, stylistic devices, and character traits.
I'll talk on themes. The first theme we have, theme of murder. Through murder, we can see the militia people catching and throwing their bodies in the river. The other murder is where Baba Boy is being told that those who had been recruited had been taken back home until their relatives find them murdered and killed. The other thing we can see, theme of tradition. The theme of tradition, we can see the community believes that in the presence of powerful evil spirit called Jimmy. Okay. On the theme of tradition, we can see that in the absence of Boy, Baba Boy decides that they should bury the stem, which will symbolize the death of Boy after he disappeared.
I'll talk about characterization. There is loyalty. When Boy works for Matroke, he became the right hand of Matroke. Another one is precarious. When he betrays his family and his community and goes to work for Matroke. Another one is concern. When Boy was taken by Matroke, his neighbors came to help and condole their family.
I'll be talking about stylistic devices. We have rhetoric questions in page 81. We also have a flashback where the narrator tells the readers how Boy looked like when he was young. And we also have local dialect in page 91.
To sum up, we have discussed the story Boy, themes such as tradition and murder. We also see the effects of war on communities and even in families. And that's all for the story Boy.
Okay, my name is Deborah Juma, and I'm going to take you through the story of A Truly Married Woman. It is with the writer is Abisoy Nicole, where he analyzed the issues surrounding a marriage, where we found Ajay and Ayo. When we found Ajay and Ayo have stayed together for the period of 12 years, and yet they have not consummated their marriage. And then we find that it's ironical that they have stayed for long and they had 3 children and one was on the way. And we found it that when the World Gospel Crusading Alliance was enrouted to India and they stopped to visit Ajay.
I'll be talking about God Sees the Truth But Waits by Leo Tolstoy from Russia. In the town of Vladimir, there lived a young merchant called Ivan Asinov. He had 2 shops and a house. He had a wife and 2 little children. As a young man, he drank a lot, but when he gets married, he reduces his alcohol intake and only drinks occasionally. One summer, when he was traveling for a fair, he met a merchant from Yanaz. They are familiar to each other. And one night, the other merchant from Yanaz is murdered. And then the next morning, when Asinov wakes up very early to continue this journey to the fair, he is stopped by soldiers. They came up and arrested him for murder. He is accused of murdering the merchant from Yanaz because a knife that had a blood was found in his luggage. And we are going to talk about the characterization, stylistic devices, and themes.
We are going to discuss on the styles. We have a dialogue between Akisuya and the police who are doing investigation, and they ask him whether he killed the merchant or not. And then we have a foreshadow. Her wife had a dream about him
being arrested and being in prison but he did not listen to the wife. He decided to start the journey.
We are going to talk about the characterization of Aksionov. So he's hardworking. He has 2 shops and he also owns a house. He is also charismatic and lovable, meaning that he is liked by everyone in the prison. You see that the prison authority likes him because he is honest, and his fellow prisoners respect him as well. Another character is Makar Semyonich. He is dishonest. He kills the merchant and evades arrest by implicating Aksionov. He knows Aksionov very, very well when he arrives in prison, but pretends not to. He is also cruel and evil. He kills the merchant from Yanaz and hid the knife. He intimidates Aksionov to an extent that he cannot tell the governor who dug the tunnel, yet he knows it is Aksionov. Another character is Aksionov's wife. She is loving. Aksionov loves him so much that she wants him not to go to the fair in Nizhny. She is intuitive. She feels that the husband will be in danger and should not go for the journey.
I'll be talking about themes. The first themes, it's injustice. There was an injustice whereby Aksionov was sentenced to imprisonment and where he did not commit the murder. There's also a theme of guilt whereby Makar felt guilty for what he did to Aksionov and went to the officers and confronted that he was the one who killed the maker. And then we see theme of religion whereby Aksionov used to pray every day in prison.
We've talked about the themes, stylistic devices, and the characterizations. To sum up, we find out that Aksionov never killed the merchant, but the truth comes out at an opportune time because of the guilt. And when the truth comes out, Aksionov is dead.
I'm going to take you through a story called Talking Money. The author of this story is a Kenyan known as Stanley Gazambe. Our main character in this story is called Mukidani. He had 2 siblings who were Goseiwa and Agoya, and he also had a wife called Ronika. This comes up when Mukidani tries to sell a piece of land, but his 2 brothers decline. When they decline, he sends them away from his home. When Ronika tries to convince or persuade him not to sell the piece of land, he beats her. So Mukidani goes ahead and sells the piece of land to the gallows. When he sells a piece of land to the gallows, he is paid immediately. That was 500,000. He due to his illiteracy, he did not count the money which he was given in the briefcase. He went and placed it under the bed. When it reached at night, they heard voices coming from under the bed. When they heard voices, Ronika, who was her wife, told him to go and return that money where it came from. So Mukidani had no choice and he decided to return the money to the gallows. I'd like to welcome my fellow colleagues who will take us through characterization, stylistic devices and themes.
There is theme of violence. He is violent when he had bitter exchange of words with his siblings, which made him to smash the pot against the wall. Then there is illiteracy. He is being illiterate when he is sent to school by his father. He ran away from school through the window, but his father his young dad tried to keep him in school by providing all the things that he required. Then the theme of deceit. He is being deceived by Mr. Gallo to send the land to him, but later he realizes that he has made a grave error. He is being illiterate when he's sent to school by his father, but he does not stay in school. He runs away from school through the school window. Then he's being violent, but when he has a big exchange of bitter words with his siblings, which made him to smash the pot against the wall.
I'll be talking about styles in the story Talking Money. The first style is local dialect. We can see a local dialect whereby Mukidani was arguing with his siblings, Agoya and Gosenye, and he called them Jinga Sana. And we can also see flashback whereby Mukidani had a flashback of his childhood life whereby he was sent to school and yet he was not going to school. Instead, he went roasting maize and playing sim. And also we can see irony, and irony comes about whereby Mukidani loved money a lot, and at the end of the story that becomes his worst nightmare.
I'll take you through character traits. Mukidani is ignorant as he does not count the amount of money given to him by Gallo, but only checks his words for it. Mukidani is also violent as he trashes the porch outside his house after an argument with his brother. Mukidani is hard-headed as he does not take any advice given to him by his brother and even his wife Onika.
The theme of deceit, when Mukidani is being deceived by Mr. Gallo to sell the land to him, later he realizes that he has made a grave error. Then there is a theme of illiterate when he is asked to send by Mr. Gallo's lawyer. Instead, he uses his tongue, his finger. We have the theme of illiteracy. Mukidani is being illiterate when he is taken to school by his father. He eventually runs from school through the school window and he goes to roast maize, but when he tries to sell the land, he is told by the Gallo's lawyer to sign. He doesn't know how to sign. Then we have deceit. He is being deceived by Mr. Gallo to sell the land to him. Later he realizes that he has made a grave error.
Just to sum up, my fellow colleagues have looked at characterization such as ignorant and hard-headed, and they have also looked at themes such as illiteracy and illiteracy. They have also looked at styles such as irony. And just at the end of this story, we realize that Mukidani loses. He returns the money to the Gallos. And the land which he had sold, it remained for the Gallos because they had a deal.
I'll be taking you through the short story December, which is written by Philemon Liambo and Amidian. So the story basically talks about mental health. It's about a young girl, December, and the brother, September. These are children to Silas Shikongo. So since childhood, December is denied her rights to eat chicken for reasons his grandfather Ezekiel Shikongo only understood. September tries by all means to know the reasons why her sister does not eat chicken, but her efforts are in vain. So December at some point starts to exhibit some queer changes. So she goes mad at once and at some point starts to walk on the street naked while talking to herself. According to Ezekiel, he believes that her granddaughter is bewitched, and this angers September. He also states that his brother Joseph also lost track of time during his teens. When September goes to visit December in the hospital, in the psychiatric ward, we find out that he had not seen December for almost 6 months. So he brings December a hoodie and chips and puzzles, So during departure time, December does not want September to leave, but the nurse assures her that the following day, September was allowed to see December. But September agrees to this, but knowing in his mind he will not make it the following day, since he'll be attending their grandfather's funeral, Ezekiel Shikongo. So he spares December the sudden news that his grandfather had passed away and is concerned about a mental illness. I'll welcome my fellow colleagues to discuss on the themes, the stylistic devices, and the characterization.
Okay, here in the story of December, I'll take you through the themes. Firstly, we got the theme of mental illness, where the December suffered from a psychiatric disorder. Secondly, we have education, where September got an opportunity to study in the UK. The third theme is culture, where December was denied eating chicken because of culture restriction girls from eating.
I'm going to share with you about the characterization, and I'll start with December. She's intelligent, whereby we are told that she had the ability to shine in her educations, and then she's keen and observant. December observed the scars that September has from his childhood memories, and then loving and caring. She tears her t-shirts and then tie September so that they can control the bleeding, and then he goes to September. He's loving and caring, whereby he gets December her favorite chips to the mental hospital, and then we got the grandfather secretive, whereby he does not say the reason as to why he restricts September from taking the chips and chicken. Look at the grandfather's character trait, whereby he's secretive. He restricts December from taking chicken, whereby we are told that there is no good reason as to why he restricts her.
I'm going to take you through the styles. At first, we find a local diet in page 86, and then you have a dialogue, and then the dialogue is between the waitress and September, as when he is buying a chips for December, and then you have a flashback. Through the flashback, Ezekiel tells us when December started suffering from the mental illness, and then you have a dream motive. Ezekiel had a dream where his brother was.
So to finalize on the story, mental illness portrays itself as the main theme in the story, as December abruptly suffers from a mental disorder and does not get to finish her secondary education. We also find culture and tradition, where December is restricted from eating chicken. This secret is buried to the grave by his grandfather, Ezekiel, and September does not get to understand the reason why her sister is restricted from eating chicken.